Buying a home. It's exciting, isn't it? You're probably already scrolling through Zillow late at night, imagining where your sofa will go, maybe even picking out paint colors in your head. I get it. That's the fun part. But before we get into the car and start looking at houses, there is one critical step we have to take first. And I know, it's the boring part. It's the math part. We need to get you pre-qualified, or better yet, pre-approved. Now I can hear some of you sighing. Can't we just look at one house first? Well, think of it this way. Imagine going to the grocery store with a cart full of hungry kids, but you left your wallet at home. You can look at the lobster. You can admire the expensive steaks, but you're not taking them home. And honestly, that just hurts. That is exactly why understanding your finances comes before the search. We want to protect you from that heartbreak. There is nothing worse than falling in love with a home, mentally moving your family in, only to realize it's $50,000 out of your price range. I want to save you from that heartache. Here's the other reality. We are still in a competitive market. Sellers want to know you're the real deal. And a pre-approval letter? Well, that's your golden ticket. It tells the seller you aren't just window shopping. It tells them you are ready, willing, and able to buy. Without it, most agents won't even open the door. Now, you might be thinking, great, but where do I even start? Please do not click on the first random mortgage ad you see online. You need a partner. You need someone local. Someone who actually answers their phone on the weekend when we're writing an offer. If you don't have that person yet, ask me. I work with the best lenders in town every single day. I can look at your situation and connect you with a perfect local pro who will take care of you. Because remember, just because a bank says they will lend you $500,000 doesn't mean you should spend it. Only you know about your daycare costs, your student loans, and how much you love your summer vacation. Getting clear on your numbers early means we find a house you can afford and a life you can enjoy. I used to be a fourth grade teacher, so your homework is simple. Let's get that pre-approval letter. Reach out if you need a referral. But once you have that golden ticket in your hand, who's going to help you use it? You need a guide. You need an expert. In my next video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to find the right realtor. Someone who has your back, not just someone looking for a commission check. So hit that subscribe button or click the video on your screen right now. Let's go find your partner in this process. Okay, you have your pre-approval. You have your golden ticket. Now comes the question, who's going to help you use it? If you check your Facebook or talk to your neighbors, it feels like everyone knows a real estate agent. Maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's your coworker's aunt, and they are all nice people. But this isn't about being nice. This is likely the largest financial transaction of your life. You don't need a salesperson. You can find a salesperson anywhere. They are the ones trying to sell you a house the minute you walk in the door. You need a partner. You need a service professional. There's a huge difference. A salesperson wants to get you to the closing table as fast as possible. A partner cares more about your 5-year plan than their commission check. A partner will tell you when to walk away from a bad house, even if it means they don't get paid. So how do you spot the difference? When you are interviewing agents, and yes, you should interview them, here are a few questions to ask. Number 1, are you a full-time agent? You need someone who is watching the market every hour, not someone who does this as a hobby on the weekends. Number 2, how do you help me win in a competitive market? If their only answer is, we just offer more money, keep looking. You need a strategy, not just a checkbook. And number 3, and this is my favorite, ask them this. Will you tell me the uncomfortable truth? Will you tell me if a house smells like a money pit? Will they tell you if your expectations are unrealistic? You need honesty, not fluff. Now, if you find a great agent, there's one specific thing they will do before they ever put you in their car. It's called a buyer counseling session or a strategy meeting. If an agent says, let's go look at a house, that's a red flag. A true professional will want to sit down with you first. Why? Because in that session is where we set the ground rules. It's where we figure out how you want to communicate, text, email, or phone calls. It's where we separate your needs from your wants. And it is where we map out the entire process so there are no surprises. If you skip this meeting, you are basically driving blind. So what actually happens in that meeting? And how does it save you dozens of wasted hours? In the next video, I'm going to take you inside the buyer counseling session. I'll show you exactly how we build your custom roadmap to homeownership. So click on that video and let's get that strategy built. Okay, we have the pre-approval. You've hired me as your partner. Now we sit down. This is the buyer counseling session where we set your strategy. And I'll be honest, some people want to skip this. They say, I know what I want, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, big yard, let's go. But if we just jump in the car with that generic list, we're going to waste a lot of gas and a lot of your time. The goal of this meeting is to build your search filter. And to do that, we have to separate your must-haves from your preferences. There is a big difference. A must-have is a deal breaker. If a house is missing this, I won't even email it to you. A preference is the cherry on top. It's the thing we want, but we won't sacrifice the location for it. My job in this session is to play detective. I'm going to ask you a lot of clarifying questions. For example, you might tell me I need 4 bedrooms, and I'm going to ask, tell me who's living there. You might say, well, it's me, my spouse, or toddler, and I work from home. Aha, so you don't necessarily need 4 sleeping rooms. You need 3 bedrooms and a dedicated workspace. Why does that distinction matter? Because if I tell the computer 4 bedrooms, it hides every amazing 3-bedroom house that has a huge den or a finished basement office. By asking the right questions, we actually expand your options, not limit them. Here's another one. Lot size. You might say, I need to have 3 acres or more. And I may ask, well, why? Usually the answer is, I want my privacy. Well, did you know that some homes with 2 acres actually have more privacy than homes with 3 acres? If I find the perfect home for you and it has 2.9 acres, would you want to see it? That is why we have this meeting, to make sure we are searching for the right fit. We also use this time to get on the same page about communication. If you are a text person, I won't leave you 3-minute voicemails. If you work night shifts, I won't call you at 9 a.m. If we are setting the rules of engagement so this process fits your life, we will have a better connection. Once this meeting is done, I go to work. I build your custom search profile in the multiple listing service, and then your phone is going to ping. You're going to get that first batch of listings. But what you should look for, and when do we actually see one in person? In the next video, I'm going to explain the search in the first showing. I'll teach you how to read between the lines of those listing photos and dig deeper into the story of each potential home. Click the next video and let's start shopping. Okay, the search is live. Your phone just pinged. You see a house that looks perfect. The photos are amazing. The kitchen is dreamy. You want to see it right now. But before we rush out the door, I have some homework to do first. My job is to not just open doors. My job is to protect you. Before we schedule an appointment, I pull the property disclosure. Think of this as the Carfax for the house. Photos can be filtered. They can hide a lot of ugly truths. I'm looking for the things that cost you big money or affect your health. Is the roof at the end of its life? Is the furnace from the 1950s? Is there a history of water in the basement? If I see major red flags, it's important to know that before we take a look. But let's say the house passes my test. We book a showing. Here are 3 rules of engagement when we are at the property. Rule number 1, we respect the schedule. Sellers have turned their lives upside down for us. They cleaned the house, they hid the laundry, they loaded the kids and the dog into the car. If we are late, we mess up their whole day. If we arrive on time and we leave on time, it's just professional courtesy. Rule number 2, we stick together. I know it's tempting to divide and conquer. You run upstairs, I'll check the basement, but for safety and liability, we need to stay together as a group. Plus, I need to see your reaction to things. I can't help you if I'm not in the room with you. And rule number 3, this is the big one. Assume you're being recorded. Nanny cams, Ring doorbells, smart speakers, they are everywhere. Do not stand in the living room and talk about how much you're willing to pay. And do not stand in the kitchen and talk about how much you hate the wallpaper. Keep a poker face. Save the negotiation strategy and the critiques for the safety of my car or the sidewalk. We never want to give away our leverage because Alexa was listening. So we viewed the house, we stayed on time, We kept our poker faces out, and you felt the spark. You love it. Now things get real. How do we take that house off the market and make it yours? In the next video, I'm going to walk you through making the offer and how to win without overpaying. Click the next video and let's write up that contract. We did it. The sellers have accepted your offer. They signed on the dotted line. You are officially under contract. Take a deep breath, high five your spouse, pop a little bit of champagne because you won. You beat the competition. But don't drink the entire bottle. We haven't crossed the finish line yet. We just started the obstacle course. From this moment right now until the day you get the keys, a giant clock is ticking. We have strict deadlines to hit, and if we miss them, you could lose the house or you could lose your deposit. So here's what happens next. First, the earnest money. We talked about this in the offer. This is your good faith deposit. I need to get that check to the title company or the agency immediately, usually within 2 to 4 days. This puts your skin in the game and makes the contract legally binding. Second, the paperwork. You're going to see a document called the Purchase and Sale Agreement. It is long, it is full of legal jargon, and it can be intimidating. I don't want you signing something you don't understand. I actually have a separate video on this channel called the Purchase and Sales Agreement, paragraph by paragraph. I highly recommend you watch that. I go through the fine print so you know exactly what you are agreeing to. Go check that out if you want a deep dive. Third, lock down your financing. Your lender needs updated documents, pay stubs, bank statements. Get them what they need today, not tomorrow, today. Here's a warning. Please hear me on this. Do not buy a new car. Do not buy furniture on a credit card. Do not quit your job. Do not move large piles of cash around between banks. Any change in a financial picture can kill your loan and the deal instantly. Just be boring. Keep your money where it is until we close. So the money is moving. The paperwork is signed. Now comes the biggest hurdle of them all. We need to find out if the house is actually solid or if it has material defects. It's time for the home inspection. This is the part that makes buyers the most nervous. What happens if we find mold or a bad roof? Do we walk away? In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the inspection period, what we look for, and how we negotiate repairs without losing the house. So go watch the purchase and sale video and then meet me in the next one for inspections. Okay, the paperwork is signed, the clock is ticking. Now comes the moment of truth, the home inspection. For many buyers, this is the most stressful part of the entire process. You're about to have a professional examine every inch of your future home, and they're going to find things. I need to manage your expectations right now. No house is perfect, not even a brand new construction. We are bringing in an inspector who is trained to see things that you and I simply cannot see. They are going to crawl into attics, open electrical panels, and check the foundation. And they're going to hand us a report that might feel a little overwhelming. But here's the rule. Do not panic. We are looking for 2 specific things in this report. 1, safety issues. Is the wiring dangerous? Is there radon air? 2, hidden high-cost repairs. Is the septic system malfunctioning? Is the roof failing? These are the things sellers are usually willing to fix or give a credit for. We are not looking for a honey-do list. We are not going to ask the seller to fix a squeaky door hinge or paint a scuffed wall. If we nitpick the small stuff, the seller might get annoyed and say no to the big stuff. Let's focus on the big, expensive, dangerous items. Now let's talk about the timeline. This is critical. In your contract, we negotiate a specific number of days to get this done. Maybe it's 7, 10 business days. We need to book the inspector immediately, like as soon as you hang up the phone with me. Why the rush? Because if the inspector finds something concerning, like a weird crack in the basement, we might need time to call in a structural engineer to take a second look. We may need time to investigate some issues further. If we wait until day 9 to inspect, we run out of time to get answers and may be rushed to make a decision. And here's the part where you need to trust me to watch the calendar. All of our negotiations asking for repairs, credits must be done in writing within the specified number of days. If we miss that deadline by even an hour, you might be buying the house as is, or you may go beyond your deadline and your earnest money deposit could be in jeopardy. So we're going to move fast. We're going to be thorough, and we're going to make sure this investment is safe for you. Once we get past the inspection and we agree on repairs, we have one final financial hurdle to clear. The bank needs to agree that the house is actually worth what you're paying for it. In the next video, I'm going to explain the appraisal. What happens if the value comes in low? What happens if the appraiser calls for some items to be repaired? Click the next video and let's talk value. We survived the home inspection. We negotiated the repairs. We are so close to the finish line. But now a third party enters the chat, the appraiser. And honestly, this is the one part of the process that neither you nor I can control. The appraiser works for the bank. Their job is to answer two questions. One, is the house actually worth what you agreed to pay for it? And two, does the house meet the safety standards for your specific loan type? Let's talk about value first. If you offered $300,000, but the appraiser says it's only worth $290,000, we have a problem. The bank is only going to lend you on the appraised value. So if that number comes in low, we have choices. The seller can lower the price, you can pay the difference in cash, or we can meet somewhere in the middle. It's another round of negotiation, and I'll be there to guide you through it. But here's the part people often forget: condition requirements. Not all loans are created equal. If you're using a conventional loan, the appraiser is mostly looking at the big picture. But if you're using FHA, VA, or RD loan, the rules are stricter. These government-backed loans have strict health and safety guidelines. The appraiser might flag things like peeling paint because it could be lead. They might flag a missing handrail on the porch or a window that doesn't open easily for a fire escape. If the appraiser puts these on the report, they are not suggestions, they are requirements. The bank will not release the money until these specific items are fixed and re-inspected. Now here's the tricky part. Legally, the seller is not obligated to fix these things. And legally, you aren't obligated to fix them either. But here's the reality. If no one fixes them, the loan gets denied. The transaction dies. So if these come up, we have to go back to the seller and say, hey, we want to buy your house, but the bank won't let us until the railing is fixed. Usually rational minds prevail and we get it done. But you need to be prepared to have that conversation. Once the appraiser gives us the thumbs up on value and condition, the hard part is officially over. The loan goes to final underwriting and we get ready to sign papers. But before you sign on the dotted line, you have the right to review the final numbers. It's called the closing disclosure. And you needed to see it within 3 days before we close. And we need to go look at the house one last time to make sure it's still standing. I'll walk you through the clear to close and the final walkthrough. We're almost there. Click the next video. We just got the 3 best words in real estate: clear to close. That means the underwriter is happy, the bank is ready to wire the money, and we are officially cleared for landing. First, a little housekeeping. You're going to get your final numbers, the closing disclosure, at least 3 days before we close. Review it, and if you need to call utility companies, electric, gas, water, internet, set them up to transfer it into your name on the day of closing. There is nothing worse than moving into your new home and realizing you have to sit in the dark because you forgot to call the power company. But before we sign the papers, we have one final mission: the final walkthrough. We usually do this the day before closing, or sometimes the morning of. Now, I have had clients tell me, oh, we don't need to do the final walkthrough. We were just there last week measuring for curtains. Let me tell you why that is a bad idea. I actually had a situation where the buyers had been visiting a vacant house constantly. They had been in and out, showing family, taking measurements. They felt like they knew the place inside and out. They wanted to skip the final walkthrough to save time. I insisted we go. When we walked in, we heard dripping. Water was coming through the roof. It had actually caused a portion of the ceiling in one of the bedrooms to collapse. If they had skipped that walkthrough, they would have signed the papers an hour later. They would have owned that collapsed ceiling. Because we checked, the seller had to fix it before we closed. So we are going, no exceptions. Here is exactly what to be looking for. Number 1, is everything gone that should be gone? Did the sellers take away their trash? Is everything there that should be there? Did they take the refrigerator that we negotiated for? Did they unscrew the expensive light fixtures and swap them out for cheap ones? It happens. And number 3, is everything working? We turn on the faucets, we flush the toilets, we check the furnace. We need to verify the house is in the same condition as when you offered on it. 99% of the time, it goes perfectly. But for that 1% when the ceiling falls down, you'll be glad I made you go. Once we give the thumbs up to the title company, it's time to make it official. In the final video of the series, I'm going to walk you through closing day. I'll tell you what you need to bring, who will be there, And when you finally get to the keys to your new home, this is the victory lap. Click the next video. This is it. The day we've been working toward for weeks, maybe even months. Closing day. You're about to walk into a conference room, sign several documents, and walk out as a homeowner. It's an amazing feeling. But before we pop the confetti, there are two specific things you must bring with you to the title company. If you forget these, we cannot close. Item number one is your ID. It needs to be a government-issued photo ID, a driver's license or a passport, and please check the expiration date right now. If it had expired last week, we have a problem. It must be current. And number two, the money. We need certified funds for your down payment and closing costs. This means a cashier's check from your bank or a confirmation that you wired the money. Please do not bring a personal check. They won't take it. And please do not bring a suitcase full of money like you're in a movie. They definitely won't take that. Once we're at the table, get your hand ready. You're going to sign your name to about 50,000 documents. You might get a little wrist cramp, but I promise it's worth it. The closing officer will notarize everything. We'll shake hands, and then I get to hand you the keys, the garage door opener, the mailbox key. It's all yours. Now, a lot of agents disappear the moment the check clears. That is not how we operate. And you are not just a transaction to us. You are a client for life. So keep an eye on your inbox tomorrow. We're going to send you a quick email asking for a review or testimonial. If we did a good job for you, let the world know. It helps other families find the guide they can trust. And we have one last surprise. We know moving is expensive and exhausting. But once you're settled, you're going to want to show off that new home. We want to throw you a housewarming party. Our treat. You provide the guest lists, email addresses, and phone numbers of your friends and family, and we will handle the rest. Pizza, chips, dessert, drinks, invites, we've got it covered. You just open the door and accept the compliments. Thank you for trusting us on this journey. Owning a home is the start of a whole new chapter. We are honored to have been part of it. I'm Jeff Joliker, and at Surrett Real Estate, welcome home.